My boss had a new boyfriend named Eugene Larson. The first day, he showed up at the office. He made it his mission to mark his territory. He literally deleted my number from my boss's phone. Right in front of me. Eugene waved his phone in my face, acting all innocent. Hey, anything you need to tell Tina? Just run it by me first, Mr. Sanders. I'll pass it along. I get a little insecure. So don't take it personally. Just trying to avoid any misunderstandings. I was hoping my boss, Tina Caden, would back me up, but nope. She just stood there gazing at Eugene like he hung the moon. Then she turned to me and said, "Sounds like a solid plan, Mr. Sanders. Make sure you look after Eugene, okay?" Was I supposed to say I had no choice but to add Eugene to my contacts? Big mistake. The second he got my number, my phone blew up. "Mr. Sanders, that client you're meeting tomorrow, Charleston, that a guy or a girl? Where's the meeting? And hey, dress down tomorrow. Maybe skip washing your face and hair. I don't want to think you're trying to hit on my wife. I know you and Tina are just co-workers, but don't stab me in the back. I'm treating you like a bro here. Oh, one more thing. New job for you. Remind Tina every 30 minutes to text me that she loves me." I read these ridiculous messages and laughed out of pure frustration. I put my phone on silent, tossed it aside, and went to bed. The next morning, I woke up to dozens of missed calls. My heart dropped. I called back immediately thinking something serious had happened. The second the call connected, Eugene's voice exploded in my ear. "Drew Sanders, what the hell were you doing last night? Why didn't you pick up? Were you sneaking around? Where'd you sleep? Turn on your location right now. I swear if I find out you were making moves on Tina behind my back, I'll end you." I was speechless. I'm the general manager of this company, not his personal babysitter. I kept my cool and replied flatly, "Mr. Larson, I don't report my personal life to you. If you have questions, ask Miss Caden. What I do after work is my own business. I can be wherever I want. You don't get a say in that." Eugene scoffed. "If you won't tell me where you are, you must be hiding something. I'll have my wife fire you." "Mr. Larson." I couldn't help firing back. "You keep calling Miss Caden your wife. Are you two actually married? I'll take responsibility for any work mistakes. But if you're trying to fire me, just because I won't play along with this nonsense, that's not gonna fly." He didn't even listen. "Tell me, what were you doing when you ignored my calls?" I was done arguing. It was nighttime. I was sleeping. What else would I be doing? Sleeping? His voice shut up like he'd caught me red-handed alone. "Where do you live? You didn't secretly move near Tina, did you?" "I don't care. Send me your location right now, or you're gonna regret it." I couldn't take it anymore. I sent him my location, just to shut him up. It worked. 2 minutes later, he texted me again, totally different vibe this time. "My bad, bro. I overreacted. Tina's just so amazing. I'm always scared someone's gonna steal her. We cool some pics of Tina for me at your meeting later, okay?" I rolled my eyes so hard. I swallowed my frustration, got ready, and rushed to the office. Here's the deal. Eugene was some college kid Tina had been seeing. Once he found out she owned her own company, he showed up to stake his claim. But this guy must have watched too many soap operas. He treated every male employee like a rival, and me as Tina's college classmate and the GM, who helped build this company from scratch. I was public enemy number one in his eyes. He watched me like a hawk, completely clueless that I only cared about one thing: making money. Dating was the last thing on my mind. 9 a.m., Tina and I were in the meeting room at Kent Charleston's office, prepping our notes. We had 30 minutes until our 10 a.m. appointment, when my phone started blowing up. The notifications echoed through the quiet room. Tina shot me a look. "Keep your phone on silent during meetings." Do I really need to tell you that I checked my phone Of course, all Eugene. "You in the meeting room, bro. Met Mr. Charleston yet? Send me a pic. I need a full body shot of you too. Gotta make sure you're dressed right. You're with Tina, right? Why isn't she texting me back? Tell her to check her phone now." I felt a vein throbbing in my temple. I took a deep breath and turned to Tina. "Miss Caden, your boyfriend's trying to reach you." The second she heard boyfriend, she grabbed her phone and walked out without a word. I just stood there stunned. Ken was about to arrive and she picked now to text her boyfriend. 2 minutes later, Kent and his secretary walked in. He frowned at the empty chair beside me. "Where's Miss Caden?" Kent was old school, a 50-something industry legend, who valued punctuality and professionalism. He was clearly annoyed. I smiled, quickly made up an excuse, and jumped right into the presentation. After 30 minutes of pitching, Kent was not nodding along. Things were looking good. That's when Tina strolled back in, totally calm, sat down next to me, and asked how things were going. When she heard we'd nailed it, she looked relieved. She started discussing contract details with Kent, while I slipped out to grab some water. The break room, I checked my phone. Over 100 messages. Dozens of missed calls. All Eugene. Before I could even read them, another call came in. I hung up. He called again. I hung up again. He kept calling. Finally, I gave in and answered. Eugene exploded. Andrew Sanders. Are you seriously ignoring my calls again? What are you hiding? I was barely holding it together. I told you I'm in a meeting. This is a multi-million-dollar deal. Can you handle the consequences if you screw this up? Eugene just scoffed. Can you handle it if Tina and I have a fight? And it messes with her work? I had nothing to say. This guy's brain operated on a whole different wavelength. Before I could respond, he pushed harder. Turn on your camera. I want to see where you are and who's around you. Show me everything 360 degrees. I was at my limit. I gripped my phone and tried to stay patient. I'm in a meeting. Mr. Larson, can you stop with the drama? If you need something, contact Miss Caden. I'm a manager. Got a messenger service for you to turn on the camera. Do it and I'll believe you. Otherwise, you're lying. Fine. I had nothing to hide. I turned on the camera and pointed it at the meeting room door. I just walked out of.
See?
I told you I was in a me AAA. Andrew Sanders, you piece of crap trying to have an office romance. With Tina, don't even think about seducing her while I'm around. That was it. I hung up, deleted him from my contacts and blocked him on everything after that. I looked at my clean home screen. Even the air felt fresher. Back in the meeting room, Tina and Kent were chatting happily. Looked like they were about to sign. Kent picked up the contract and smiled at Tina. A lot of big companies wanted this project. Some offered more money than you, but we go way back. And I trust working with people I know, especially Mr. Sanders here. He's sharp, professional, and capable. Good help like that is hard to find. The compliment wasn't about stroking my ego. It was recognition of my work. Tina looked relieved and started returning compliments. Just as Kent was about to sign, the door slammed open. Kent's secretary was trying to hold back Eugene, who had barged in like a maniac. She looked apologetic. I'm so sorry, Mr. Charleston. This gentleman says he's Miss Caden's boyfriend, and insisted on supervising the meeting. I couldn't stop him. Before she could finish, Eugene shoved her aside, stormed toward me, and slapped me across the face.
Slap.
The sound echoed through the silent room. Everyone froze. I touched my burning cheek and stared coldly at Eugene. His face was covered in tears. His eyes swollen like he'd been crying the whole way here. But he acted like Hachi was the victim. Tina rushed over to him. Panic, Eugene. What are you doing here? Before answering, Eugene scanned the room suspiciously. Kent standing there, the PowerPoint still on screen, documents spread across the table. Everything screamed normal business meeting. Realizing he'd messed up, Eugene switched to poor little me mode, grabbed Tina's hand, looking pitiful. I texted you, and you didn't reply right away. I got worried something happened to you. He glanced at me timidly and added, Mr. Sanders blocked me and wouldn't text back. He hasn't been nice to me at all. The more he talked, the sadder he sounded. His eyes turned red as he kept mumbling. I'm sorry, and I didn't mean to. I was doing everything I could to hold back my anger. Before I could speak, Tina suddenly grabbed my arm. You apologized to Eugene. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Miss Caden, I'm the one who just got slapped for no reason. So what? Tina frowned, acting like I was the problem. You know how sensitive and insecure Eugene is. Why didn't you text him back? That's your failure. And I never told you to block him. Why would you do that? If Kent hadn't been standing right there, I would have thrown those documents in both their faces. I forced myself to stay calm, then projected my phone screen onto the big display. Hundreds of Eugene's ridiculous messages filled the screen, demanding my location, telling me how to dress, ordering me to remind Tina to say I love you to him. Eugene went quiet and looked away. Tina stared at the screen.
Done. Tell me.
Miss Caden, I said, my voice cold but clear. Are you saying I should have blown a multi-million-dollar deal just to babysit your boyfriend? I paused. Are you his girlfriend, or am I? Tina's face turned red, and she tried to change the subject. Watch your tone, Andrew.
How dare you talk to me like that?
Do you even want to keep your job? Then she started spouting nonsense. Sure, the contract matters, but Eugene matters more. You're a senior member of this company, my right-hand man. Isn't it your job to handle both the business and my personal life? I had nothing to say. You can't reason with unreasonable people. Eugene noticed Tina wasn't focused on him anymore. He cranked up the drama. He tugged on her hand, voice trembling. Stop, Tina. I know Mr. Sanders doesn't like me. He's probably had a thing for you for ages, and got jealous when we got together. That's why he's been mean to me. He started walking toward the door, acting devastated. I'll just go. Nobody cares about my feelings, anyway. Then he ran out crying. Tina didn't even glance at me or at Kent and chased after him. That left me, Kent and his secretary standing in awkward silence. Kent looked furious. He laughed coldly. I didn't realize Miss Caden valued her boyfriend more than $1 million deal. Is this how your company shows sincerity? His warmth was gone. We need to reassess your company's capabilities. That's enough for today. You can leave. A wave of frustration hit me. I was the only one who knew how many sleepless nights I'd spent perfecting this proposal, how many times I'd reviewed every detail, how many personalized gifts I'd sent Kent to build our relationship. All of it destroyed by a love-sick boss and her control-freak boyfriend. My eyes went cold. If Tina wasn't going to act right, she couldn't blame me for what came next. As Kent turned to leave, I called out, "Please wait, Mr. Charleston." He turned curious. I took a deep breath and pulled another set of documents from my bag, handing them to him.
Take a look at this contract.
"Mr. Charleston, then decide if you still want to work together." Kent Charleston frowned, his thick gray eyebrows knitting together as he took the folder. He hesitated, then opened it. I watched his eyes scan the first page, then the second. His expression shifted from anger to confusion, and finally, to a look of impressed calculation. "This is..." Kent looked up at me, tapping the paper. "A resignation letter? Dated for today. Effective immediately," I said, my voice steady. "And underneath that is a separate proposal. It's a consultancy agreement for my own firm, Apex Solutions. It outlines the exact same strategy one just pitched you, but with lower overheads and a guarantee that the only person you communicate with is me." Kent leaned back, a slow grin spreading across his face. "You came prepared to quit your own job in the middle of a pitch?" "Mr. Charleston, I helped build Caden Enterprises, but I'm not blind. I saw the instability coming the moment Eugene walked through the door. I respect you too much to let you sign a contract with a sinking ship. If you sign with Tina, you get Eugene. If you sign with me, you get the work." Kent didn't hesitate. He pulled a Montblanc pen from his pocket, uncapped it, and signed the consultancy agreement. "I don't do business with children," Kent said, handing the folder back to me. "And I certainly don't do business with men who let their partners get slapped. You handled yourself with restraint, Sanders. I like that. See you Monday." "Monday, sir." I walked out of that meeting room feeling lighter than I had in years. I didn't go back to the office to plead my case. I went back to pack. When I arrived at the office, the atmosphere was toxic. Word of the disaster at the meeting hadn't leaked yet, but the tension was palpable. I walked straight to my office, grabbed a cardboard box, and started clearing my desk. I was halfway through packing my awards when the door flew open. Tina marched in, Eugene trailing behind her like a smug puppy. Her eyes were red, but her jaw was set in that stubborn way I knew too well. "What do you think you're doing?" she demanded. "Packing," I said without looking up. "You're not quitting," she scoffed. "You're trying to manipulate me. You think if you make a scene, I'll apologize and kick Eugene out? Grow up, Andrew. You're the general manager. You don't get to just walk away because your feelings are hurt." I placed a framed photo of my team into the box. "I'm not manipulating you, Tina. I'm leaving. The Charleston deal is dead for you. Kent kicked us out." Eugene laughed, leaning against the doorframe, checking his nails. "See, babe? I told you he messed it up. He probably insulted the guy. Good riddance. We don't need dead weight." Tina looked torn for a second, then her face hardened. "Andrew, if you walk out that door, you're done.
No severance.
No reference. I'll make sure everyone in this industry knows you abandoned us during a crisis." I finally looked at her. Really looked at her. I saw the woman I had pulled all-nighters with to get this company off the ground. The woman I had defended in boardrooms. And I saw that she was gone, replaced by someone desperate for the affection of a man who treated her employees like trash. "Tina," I said softly, "I don't need a reference. And I don't need severance. I just need to be away from him." I pointed at Eugene. "And frankly, away from you." "You're jealous," Eugene shouted, pushing off the wall.
Admit it.
"You wanted her." I picked up my box. "Eugene, the only thing I wanted was to do my job. Something you wouldn't understand." I walked past them. Eugene tried to step in my path to intimidate me, puffing out his chest. I didn't stop, didn't flinch. I just kept walking. He stumbled back to avoid a collision, looking foolish. "You'll be back in a week begging for your job," Tina screamed after me as I hit the elevator button. "Don't expect me to be merciful." The elevator doors closed, cutting off her voice. The silence was beautiful. The first month of Apex Solutions was brutal but exhilarating. I worked from my apartment, fueled by coffee and spite. But Kent Charleston was a man of his word. He advanced me the initial deposit, and word traveled fast. In this industry, people talk. They knew Tina didn't write the proposals, I did. They knew Tina didn't manage the logistics, I did. By the third month, I had rented a small office space downtown. By the sixth month, I needed to hire staff. That's when my phone started ringing. It wasn't clients. It was my old team from Caden Enterprises. Andrew, you have to get me out of here, Sarah, the head of marketing, whispered into the phone one afternoon. It's a nightmare. Eugene has an official title now. Director of Culture. He mandates morning hugs. He monitors our bathroom breaks. He fired the entire IT department because he thought they were hacking his Instagram. Send me your resume, Sarah, I said. One by one I poached them. The competent ones. The hardworking ones. The ones who had been slapped, yelled at, or demeaned by Eugene. Caden Enterprises was bleeding talent, and Apex Solutions was the lifeboat. I heard rumors about Tina. She was losing contracts. Big ones. Without me to smooth over her erratic schedules, and without the team to execute the work, quality had nosedived. But I didn't care. I was too busy counting the zeros in my bank account. It was a Tuesday, a year after I'd left, when I ran into Kent Charleston at a gala. We were clinking champagne glasses, celebrating the renewal of our contract. You know, Kent said, eyeing the room, your old boss is here. I turned. Across the ballroom, Tina Caden stood near the bar. She looked diminished. Her dress was expensive, but it hung loosely on her frame. She looked tired, her eyes scanning the room nervously. And there was Eugene. He was wearing a suit that was too shiny, too tight, and clearly cost more than my car. He was loudly berating a waiter for bringing him the wrong sparkling water. Sad display, Kent muttered. I heard they lost the Henderson account last week. That was their last major revenue stream. I heard that too, I said, taking a sip of champagne.
Eugene spotted me.
He froze, his glass halfway to his mouth. He whispered something to Tina, and she whipped her head around. Her eyes locked onto mine. For a moment, I thought she would turn away. Instead, she straightened her spine and walked toward me. Eugene followed, looking ready for a fight. Andrew, Tina said when she reached us. Her voice was brittle. And Mr. Charleston. Miss Caden, I nodded politely. You look, well, she said, her eyes darting to my tailored suit, then to the heavy Rolex on my wrist, a gift to myself after our first $1 million quarter. I am well. Business is good. Must be nice, Eugene spat, though he stayed behind Tina's shoulder this time. Stealing our clients. That's lawsuit material, you know. It's the free market, Eugene, Kent interjected, his voice like gravel. And for the record, Andrew didn't steal me. I walked away because I refused to work with amateurs. Eugene turned purple. Who are you calling an amateur? I'm the— Eugene, shut up, Tina snapped. The silence that followed was deafening. Eugene looked at her, shocked. Babe. I said shut up, she hissed. She turned back to me, her eyes glistening. Andrew, can we talk? Privately? I looked at her, then at Eugene, then at the crowded room. I have nothing to say to you, Tina. Anything you need to say can be said in front of your director of culture. She flinched.
Please.
The company were struggling. I know things ended badly, but I was hoping maybe we could collaborate. You have the overflow work, and we have the infrastructure. I almost laughed. Infrastructure? You mean the empty desks where my staff used to sit? I hired them all, Tina. You don't have infrastructure. You have a building and a boyfriend. We're married, Eugene shouted, holding up his hand to show a gaudy ring. She's my wife. And she's worth 10 of you. Married? I raised an eyebrow. Congratulations. Does that mean you signed a prenup? Eugene sneered. We don't need paper to prove our love. Unlike you, who needs contracts for everything. I looked at Tina. She looked down at the floor.
No prenup.
Good luck, Tina, I said, turning my back on them. You're going to need it. The call came 3 weeks later. It was 2 a.m. I usually keep my phone on silent, but I was waiting for a call from an overseas partner. I picked it up without checking the ID. Hello. He took it all. The voice was unrecognizable at first. Hoarse, broken, sobbing. Who is this? It's Tina. I sat up in bed, turning on the lamp. Tina? He cleared the accounts, Andrew. Business. Personal. Savings. Everything. She was hyperventilating. I went to the bank today because the payroll checks bounced. It's gone.
Million.
Where is Eugene? He's gone. His phone is disconnected. His closet is empty. He even took my car. She let out a wretched sob. I found a letter. He said I was stifling his creativity and that he deserved compensation for his time. I sat there in the silence of my luxury apartment, listening to the woman who had watched me get slapped and told me to apologize. Why are you calling me, Tina? I don't have anyone else, she whispered. My parents. I can't tell them I lost the company. The landlords are evicting us from the office tomorrow. My house is leveraged against the business loan. Andrew, I'm going to be homeless. I need a loan. Just until I get back on my feet. I'll pay you back with interest.
Please.
For old time's sake. I walked to the window, looking out at the city lights. I remembered the text messages. Show me where you are. Don't wash your hair. Remind her to say she loves me. I remembered her staring at Eugene like he hung the moon while he humiliated me. Tina, I said quietly. Do you remember the meeting with Kent? When Eugene slapped me? Yes. I know I handled that wrong, but you didn't just handle it wrong. You chose him. You watched him assault a loyal employee, and you told me to apologize. You handed him the keys to your kingdom because he gave you attention. I was in love. I was blind. People make mistakes. Yes, they do, I agreed. And people pay for them. Andrew, please. I'm begging you. I have nothing. You have your experience, I said coldly. And you have your freedom from Eugene. That's more than you gave me when you let him torment me for months. I suggest you file a police report for the theft. But as for money?
No.
Andrew, you can't leave me like this. I'm not leaving you, Tina. You left me a long time ago.
Goodbye.
I hung up. Then I blocked the number. 2 years later, Apex Solutions was featured on the cover of Business Weekly. The headline read, "The New Standard of Management." I was in the photo, flanked by Sarah and the rest of my team. We looked sharp, happy, and successful. I was walking to my car after a late dinner when I saw a familiar figure. It was a small diner on the outskirts of the city. I had stopped for a coffee. The waitress who poured it looked older than her years, her hair pulled back in a messy bun, her uniform stained. She turned to wipe down the counter, and I saw her profile. It was Tina. She looked 10 years older. Lines etched deep around her mouth, her hands rough. She didn't see me. She was too busy being yelled at by a customer who was complaining about his cold fries. "I'm so sorry, sir," she was saying, her voice trembling. "I'll get you fresh ones right away. Please I'll fix it." I left a $100 bill on the table for my $3 coffee and walked out before she could turn around. I got into my car, the leather seat cool against my back. My phone buzzed. It was a text from my fiancé, a brilliant lawyer I'd met through Kent. "Dinner's ready when you get home. Love you." I smiled, put the car in gear, and drove away. As for Eugene, the last I heard, he was arrested in Florida for running a crypto scam. He tried to represent himself in court. He got 15 years. I didn't visit him. I didn't visit Tina. I had a company to run, and for the first time in my life, I was exactly where I was supposed to be. The territory was finally mine.